Hey everybody, this is Jim Anthony and this is the CBT MicroNugget on the iPhone 5S. We're just going to talk about some of the new features that they just came out with. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is just the new home button, the new Touch ID sensor, the fingerprint sensor. You can now use your finger or your thumbprint to unlock the device so you don't have to type in a passcode, but you can also use it to make purchases through iTunes or the App Store, and you don't have to type in the password there either. So it's a nice little pretty convenient thing to have. Let's take a look at how to set that up and how to use it. So this is my iPhone 5S with iOS 7, and I'm just going to hit the home button just to get it to come alive here. Now normally you can see I would have to slide to unlock this thing, which I'm not going to do. And then I'd have to punch in my 4-digit passcode. But what I am going to do is I'm just going to hold my thumb down on the home button, and voila, it comes up. So the thumbprint is the password. So let's take a quick look at how to set that up. We're going to come up to the top left here, and we're going to click on Settings. And then we're going to come into General, scroll down a little bit, and then go into Passcode and Fingerprint. And then you have to type in your passcode, and then it brings you to this page. And just click right here on Fingerprints. Now you can see here I've already got fingerprint number 1 set up. That's just my right thumb. But I'm going to go ahead and add a fingerprint because I want more than one finger. Sometimes I hold the phone in my left hand and I might want to use my index finger. Occasionally I might have the phone in my right hand and want to use my left index finger. So I'm just going to add a fingerprint here. So I'm going to tap on Add a Fingerprint, and then it just says place your finger. And you're going to have to do that repeatedly, and each time you do it, it's going to get a little bit more of your fingerprint slightly understood. So I'm kind of just tapping around and I'm moving it around a little bit on the button so it kind of gets different angles of my right index finger. I've tapped it 6-7 times or so now. A couple more ought to do it. And there it is. Adjust your grip. Keep going to capture the edges of your print. So you can keep tapping and just, roll it over a little bit to the left or up on the tip of the finger, on the right side of the finger, just to fill in some of those, gaps there. So then tap on Continue. And now you can see I've got a finger number 1 and a finger number 2 in the fingerprint section there. So you could do all of your fingers if you wanted to, but that's how you set that up. Now let's jump to the next topic, which is the camera. The camera is still an 8 megapixel camera, but it is different. The aperture is larger. Can't see that very well, can you? Aperture is larger, and the sensor area is 15% larger. And each pixel, when they say pixel, they mean a 1.5 micron pixel, which is a larger ability to get photons into your camera. More light to work with, better image. They've added image stabilization capability, and they've done it in what they call an auto image stabilization. So what they do is they take 4 pictures. You don't even know it's happening, but when you take a picture, you're actually taking 4 pictures, and then they combine them for the best elements to come up with the clearest possible image. They've got burst mode action, which allows you to hold your finger down and snap 10 frames each second. Then in video mode, the normal mode is 1080p at 30 frames per second, but they have another mode that you can switch to, and you can video in 720p at 120 frames per second, and then you can play that back at 25% speed for the slow-mo capability. In addition to that, on the new A7 chipset, which is the first 64-bit chip in a phone, they have the image signal processor, which has some new capabilities, things like dynamic local tone mapping. What that means is it takes advantage of this dual LED flash capability. You have a white and an amber flash, and with this True Tone technology they've built in, the camera's actually going to sense the light temperature of the room and adjust the flash accordingly to come up with a better lit picture. And then we all remember the panorama capability from the last version. It's the same, except it's faster, and it handles light better, so you're going to get a clearer picture. So there's a lot going on there with the new camera that you can take advantage of. So let's jump over to this new A7 64-bit processor and ask ourselves, what is it we're going to get with this new technology? It's a 64-bit processor, so it's twice as fast as all the other 32-bit processors, so everything's going to run twice as fast. No, not exactly. But there are a few things that you get with a 64-bit processor. The first thing is you get the ability to add more RAM. And more RAMs means handling larger files better. So things like movies and audio get handled better when you have more solid-state RAM in the phone. But over a 32-bit chip, you don't just get twice the capability of additional RAM. You get 2 to the 32nd power. So a 32-bit chip could handle up to 4 gig of RAM, while 64 bits can handle up to 16 exabytes of RAM. So it's a forward-looking development here. Obviously, mobile tech isn't here yet, but we're laying the groundwork for far more RAM on mobile devices to handle far bigger files. And of course, a faster chip means we're going to just have overall faster speeds, but that doesn't always necessarily mean that's going to translate into app performance. The question is, what is the computer doing with that additional speed? And we have to take into consideration that a lot of the apps aren't structured to take advantage of a 64-bit architecture. But early tests and the experts in the forums that I've been reading do say that they're noticing 10 to 20% improvements just overall performance of the device and applications on that device. So there is some noticeable enhancement in that area. Now, probably some of the neatest immediate benefits are the additional features that come with this A7 chipset. It's based on the ARM v8 architecture, and it's got some interesting built-in security. You have backward compatible to all the 32-bit applications, but you also have encryption and a thing called Trust Zone built into the chip. So Trust Zone breaks your chip into 2 virtual chips, allowing one part of it to just do normal phone operations and the other part of it to hold encrypted data, making it very difficult to attack data stored there. And so these advanced features are what make things like the fingerprint, the Touch ID possible because of what's going on the chip and because of the security capabilities there. So with this A7 64-bit processor, where are we headed? Well, I think we're headed toward passbook and mobile payments and doing a lot more really cool things with our mobile devices. And that's going to do it for our quick review of some of the new features on the iPhone 5S. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.